Tempering validated research with over 20 years of on-the-ground experience building engineering organizations, we're changing the way you think to change the way you lead. Welcome to the TTL Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the TTL Podcast, and this one is a Vacationcast. You've just got me today, and Monchow is on holiday somewhere. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about holidays, about vacations, and the importance that they have in getting away from the work, in getting some time either to yourself or with your family, and just doing something different. Almost every year, I go on vacation to ride my bike around. I've done bike rides all over the UK, around Europe, and a bit in the US. So they're usually about a week long, where I just pack everything on my bike, I take a tent, I go from campsite to campsite, and I just kind of see places, do something different, get my mind off of things. And I think that's really important. It's something where we can just let things go, experience a different place with different scenery, and we hopefully come back with a different perspective on things. And for that different perspective, sometimes I add other things into my vacation. So I've done vacations where you could almost say that I was working at the same time. I've done vacations where I've gone and visited people in tech companies. I did from the northeasternmost point in the UK to the southwesternmost point, John O'Groats to Land's End bike trip, which took about 2 weeks. And along the way, I stopped at a few different places. One of them was Auto Trader, and I stopped and I just spent some time with them. I got to meet some other people. I got to see what they were up to, and I actually found that very refreshing. I enjoyed that. I've done other trips where I cycle to a conference as a way of just like taking some time off, going to a conference, clearing my mind, getting some exercise, and then I get to the conference. So I've done that from London to Paris in the past for the KitCon conference. Most of these are for the KitCon conference. KitCon is the Continuous Integration and Testing Conference. It's been going since about 2006, and it's really my go-to conference anymore. And that's really because it is an open space conference. The conference comes together as part of the conference, what we're going to talk about. The name actually anchors people a little bit, but not entirely. So you get an interesting mixture of continuous integration and testing, as well as management or beekeeping, or I've talked about my bike trips before. And the cycling to the conference becomes a nice tradition as well for me. So I'm cycling to the next KitCon conference, which is going to be in Zagreb in May. And I'll be cycling from Munich down to Zagreb. And it becomes a great way of me getting away from things for a while, but also meeting up with old friends and colleagues. I'll be going through and meeting up with a few people, and they might join me for a couple days of riding, which would be great. And so I'd be interested in hearing from anyone who's listening to this episode. What do you do on holiday? How do you recharge? And does it connect to anything in the rest of your life, or do you try to completely disconnect? Which is something I do sometimes on these trips as well. I'm just like, nope, I am going to somewhere else and I'm just going to be by myself. And that's great too. So what do you do? How do you disconnect, decompress, find a different flow so that you can have a new view when you get back to your, what we could call your daily life? And that's it for today. A very simple vacation cast on some thoughts that were going through my mind as I prepare for this trip, and I organize with my friends to see if we can meet up and do part of the trip together. I'll put a link down in the description to the conference if anyone wants to join us there. It's a great conference, and I would really say that you should go if you can. But until next time, when Monchow is back with us and we'll be talking about our normally scheduled discussion topics. Until next time, be kind and stay curious.